Hello to you once again. With the vast majority of my studies, the fact is the final product seldom is a reflection of what I've tried to do in the first place. It's amazing how these things work out, and so it has proved yet again on this occasion with the position in front of us. I shan't tell you what the outcome of this is until we make it clear right at the end, and I've purposely left that off the title, so it will be a surprise. As you can see though, this position is essentially at the moment blocked. Not completely, but more or less. This pawn here is the only one that can eventually be accessed by this white bishop. There's a clue there as to what white might be thinking of doing. But at the moment, at least, if this pawn were not on here, black would be in stalemate. So it would be necessary to unstalemate him, unless you were happy with a draw. As it is with this pawn here, you would be happy with a draw because, as can be seen, it is threatening to promote, and really there is nothing that you can do to stop that pawn from promoting. And as you can see on the left here, I've lined up the queen, rook, bishop and knight with the intention of promoting and seeing what happens. So what is white's strategy here then, given, like I've just said, that this cannot be prevented? It's useless trying to prevent it. We can't. Well, of all of white's pieces, the king and the pawns cannot move. It's just these two bishops. Now, moving this bishop would serve no purpose because black would take it off and then start mopping up these pawns, and there's no defense to that, so black would have an easy win. So by implication, it must be this bishop here. So where does it move? This is the question. Where does it move? Does it move? Clearly not to these because it will be captured. What about here or here? Well, neither of those works. Check them out for yourselves by all means, but they do not work. They end up with black having the superior position and ultimately being able to win the game. So what we want to do essentially is to put black in a position that he's not expecting. And so if we don't go this way, yes, we must go this way. This is the only move to do it. Now, we are threatening this pawn. So if the king should move here, now that we're no longer guarding e2, what we do, of course, is we take this pawn off. Black can come this way if he wishes, and then white would go here. And do you remember what I said at the beginning of this video? We'd target this, and then we can eventually pick all these pawns off and win the game. So there's no problem in white winning if black doesn't queen that pawn or promote that pawn. So this is after bishop on b5 to a4. So by process of elimination, he only had two moves. That was one, this is the other. So what happens if black promotes to a queen? What would you say we should do there? Well, we do this. Bishop d1 check. This is why we needed the bishop on a4. We weren't so much wanting to prevent this because we couldn't, we accept that. But we're wanting to get the bishop to d1 because now black's only move is this. And now there are no more moves in this position because that's stalemate. Amazing, isn't it? So let's just put that back. So what happens if black promotes to a rook? Well, we do exactly the same thing. We leave black no choice. After bishop d1 check, he has to take off. And that's stalemate again. In both cases, with the queen and the rook, you're pinning the bishop. So white has no move. It's stalemate. So the queen and the rook fail in stopping a draw by stalemate. What happens if black promotes to a bishop? The third choice. Now, often under promoting is the way around all of these situations. Well, it's not the way here. Can you see why not? Well, it's bishop d1. And no, this isn't stalemate. It's checkmate. Nice one, isn't it? So black doesn't want to go there. What does he do instead? Well, we've one piece left. So let's promote to a knight. What do we do now? Can you see? What do we do? Well, we do exactly the same thing. We put him in check. We can't go after this pawn because the knight will take the bishop off. That is the beauty of promoting to a knight here. It does guard b3, so that is completely out of the question. And then with this knight playing around, there will be possibilities for black to win the game. So we have to follow through like with the other promotions with bishop d1. Black only has one choice, and that is to go there. Now black is in stalemate at the moment. So what do we do about this? How do we force a draw here in 2 moves? Again, we don't want to play here because he'd just whip this off and then he'd be able to capture these pawns. We take this here with check. He must take back. And then do you see how we conclude this game? That's it. We play our only legal move, but what a legal move it is, because if he touches this bishop, we have our old friend stalemate back with us. And if he doesn't touch the bishop, say he plays something like this, then it's just a case of shuffling back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there is absolutely nothing to be gained. That is a draw by repetition. And so it's a half a point each. That is a most interesting problem. And like I said at the outset, I had no intention of this being the result, but what an incredible problem it is, especially the third promotion choice on the part of black where he ends up being checkmated. I found that quite extraordinary, and it just goes to show you what is just there waiting for you in the game of chess. I hope you enjoyed that, and goodbye to you.